So something strange is happening right now and people are starting to notice it. Ticks seem to be everywhere this year. Cases of Lyme disease are climbing, and there's also a crazy new condition called alpha-gal that's spreading like wildfire, especially where I live. This is where a single tick bite can suddenly make someone allergic to red meat for the rest of their life. But what's really fueling the internet right now is the growing number of theories around all of this. Some people believe this explosion in tick-related illness is not just random. Some are pointing at scientific research, bioengineering, and even billionaires like Bill Gates. People are getting bit, people are getting sick, and people want answers.
I might be a little bit passive aggressive in this video. Loads of our USA friends are reporting a higher number of ticks than usual. Alpha-gal syndrome, a red meat allergy, is transmitted by Lone Star ticks. Mr. Gates has funded research into genetically modified cattle ticks. It is not confirmed that Mr. Gates has funded research into genetically modified Lone Star ticks, but if you're interested in one, might you not be interested in the other? Mr. Gates has funded and supported Upside Foods, which is a lab-grown meat production company. But don't worry, there's no way that somebody who's already genetically modified a species of tick would ever be interested in doing the same with another species of tick in order to create a global allergy to red meat, which would then conveniently funnel demand into their brand new funded lab-grown meat company. Now, come on, don't be silly. I mean, look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this company. Look at all the wonderful bright colours and the lovely happy smiling faces. I mean, come on, it's a lab-grown meat company. I mean, it definitely wouldn't be the guy who, and I quote, said if we do a really great job with vaccines, healthcare and reproductive services that we could lower the population by 10 to 15%. Absolutely not that guy. I mean, come on, he's the computer guy. I mean, the bioengineering scientist. I mean, the World Health Advisor. Oh wait, no, I mean the guy who Burkina Faso have literally just stopped in their country from producing genetically modified mosquitoes. But hey, it's all just a conspiracy, okay? But being serious, it is time for humanity to rise up. If the good men and women of our world were given a chance to live sovereign and free on our lands to bring up our children, we would take care and tend to our world. Of this, I have absolutely no doubt. Take care of yourselves out there. I love you all. See you in the next video.
Is it a coincidence that the same people funding lab-grown meat are the ones funding tick research? And now there's a tick called the Lone Star tick that's rapidly spreading across the US, and this tick causes a red meat allergy, so I'll let you decide.
Me and Chelsea just got done in this spot, and it's on the river, so I was like, we gotta wrap our ankles. Look at that, that's insane. I was here yesterday, pulled 17 ticks off me, and you could see them literally in the parking lot. Everywhere. I mean, they're, let me see if I can find more. I literally am taping up my ankles, and I noticed, look, I already got one on my tape, dude. This is insane. Look, another one. They're just in the parking lot everywhere.
There's officially no doubt in my mind that Billy Gates is genetically modifying the ticks. I'm out in the woods right now with my dad, and, you know, we had a few ticks on us here and there. You know, you usually just flick them off, and you're fine. Well, before I had a hat on my head, I felt one crawling in my hair. So I'm like, hey, Dad, can you check my head? And sure enough, there's a tick, so he pulls it off, and it ends up on a shirt. So he goes to take the tick off his shirt, and I'm not even kidding you, this thing jumped from his shirt to his arm. I mean, the sucker jumped like a flea. Not to mention, a few weeks ago, when I was out in the woods with my boyfriend woodcutting, I had one crawling up my leg, and this sucker was moving a lot faster than the ones that I've seen in the past. I've also seen videos of people recording ticks that are also moving abnormally fast compared to how they used to move, and them saying this is going to be a really bad tick season, while there's also going to be a Lyme disease vaccine released soon, but I'm sure that's completely unrelated. Mind you, when we had all these ticks on us today, we were wearing DEET spray. I know it's a hit or miss with it, but I mean, you'd think it'd do just a little bit of something. I mean, we're covered from head to toe. So yeah, I do some research on some essential oils and stuff that keeps the ticks away. If you go out in the woods, you know, gear up. When you get home from the woods, have a lavender bath or soak yourself in lavender, shower with a bunch of lavender. I mean, this is just ridiculous. So yeah, stay safe out there, guys. And this is totally for entertainment purposes only.
No, those are not freckles. Y'all want to see something really disturbing? Those are seed ticks. It's all over me. Yep, a whole cluster of them. When we moved here, my husband was like, "No, you're crazy. There aren't hundreds of ticks crawling all over you." Look at that. It's disgusting. Now I'm gonna go take a shower.
Let me hop back in here real quick. There is something I wanted to read to you guys from my Twitter that I thought was very interesting. Now, in this, there's a video that talks about a little kid where there's little ticks crawling around him. The parents didn't believe him at first, and then you can see just how tiny these ticks are. But the moral of the story here is it says, be extremely careful with the tick crisis taking place right now in America. Talks about the video, and then it goes in to say, I'll keep reminding everyone all over America, people are saying tick boxes are being dropped. Tim Burchett says Bill Gates is behind this increase in ticks. Pfizer is researching a vaccine for Lyme disease. Lyme disease comes from ticks. Bill Gates has been behind funding tick modification research. This is serious. People are getting sick. CDC data shows weekly emergency room visits for tick bites are the highest for the time of year. Rates are reaching 114 visits per 100,000 visits nationally. Doctors and health officials have described it as a potential bad year for tick-borne illnesses, with an early and aggressive start of the season. Every year, 476,000 Americans are diagnosed and treated for Lyme disease. That number is about to skyrocket right at the same time Pfizer is creating a vaccine. Coincidence? Amazing coincidence, actually, is what they say. Experts say it's just a bad year due to climate change and acorns.
Single tick bite is now giving 450,000 Americans a permanent allergy to red meat.
There's videos online showing boxes left in fields where ticks are just coming out of the boxes, and they're really hitting the heartland of America. Now, isn't it interesting that they're making people allergic to meat at the same time they're launching synthetic meat made in a laboratory, and all of it is because they say that when we eat meat, we are inducing climate change issues.
This is a public service announcement. Please share this information widely. The map behind me from a recently published study shows the general distribution of a type of tick called Amblyomma americanum, also known as the Lone Star tick, which is primarily responsible for causing a type of meat allergy called alpha-gal allergy, which is shorthand for the sugar molecule galactose alpha-1,3 galactose. This sugar molecule is found in mammalian meat except for in humans and certain primates, and when the Lone Star tick bites humans, it causes an immune response that could lead to a long-term meat allergy. Any type of meat product, that also includes gelatin, could cause severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reactions. It is not always consistent, and the reactions can be delayed by 4 to 6 hours and can make people very sick. The CDC estimates that close to 500,000 people in the United States are living with alpha-gal syndrome. This map behind me is a predictive model of where the Lone Star ticks have been moving, which is further and further north, likely because the temperatures have been steadily rising over the last several years. So it's important to reduce your chances of getting bitten by a tick when you're outside in the summer months. Ticks are typically found in grassy areas or in forests, so cover yourself with clothing, wear bug spray. After being outside, make sure you're taking a shower and doing a thorough tick check to make sure that you find any ticks and remove them as soon as possible.
Yeah, I start with her head first.
Chelsea and Jameson Latko have been battling ticks for months.
Tick season started a little bit earlier this year than last year. Pretty much the second the weather got nice, we let the dog out and she came back in with a tick.
The Northport, New York couple take the job very seriously, spraying their property with repellent, cutting their grass weekly, and regularly weeding.
We're taking smarter approaches to minimize our exposure.
Both say they have already been bitten by ticks multiple times this year.
My biggest concerns are that one of us are going to get sick or that our dog is going to get sick.
They're not alone. Data shows a record high spike in ER visits for tick bites last month, with states in the Northeast seeing the highest rates. According to the CDC, Lyme disease is the most common tick-related illness, with nearly 500,000 Americans diagnosed each year. Dr. Peter Griffin is an emergency medicine physician in West Virginia.
The milder winters and earlier springs contribute to there being more ticks around and more animals harboring diseases like Lyme disease.
There's no vaccine yet. To prevent contracting a possible disease, experts say wear appropriate clothing, use insect repellent, check for ticks, and remove them.
Sit.
For the Latkos, their fight against ticks is just getting started.
Good dog.
Girl.
I think ticks will be part of our lives for a long time, or as long as we're still here.
A reminder this season,
Bring your paw.
Small bites carry serious risks. Dana Griffin, NBC News.
What's that? Oh, a farmer catches a helicopter dropping thousands, if not millions of ticks into his farm, and things are getting a little bit wild. Tell me more! This is wild. A farmer's going out, kind of going through his land, and he notices a helicopter coming up, and it starts to drop all these ticks. So that video is going viral and circulating right now because he caught people in the act of doing this. The helicopter hurried and flew away, but things picked up a little bit quickly. After a few days of these ticks being around, the man actually started to find certain things that were dead on his property from these ticks. For example, he actually came across a moose on his property that was killed by these ticks. Now, there were people saying that this wasn't actually happening and that these were tick boxes that were showing up on farmland, but that's not what was happening. They're actually dropping thousands of ticks into these farmers' fields, and now they're finding them and catching them doing it. Okay.
Maybe you've heard about this, maybe you've heard someone talking about it, but it's a story the legacy media have avoided completely. More and more people are reporting that after getting bitten by a tick, they immediately develop an allergy to red meat, something that's well documented in Lone Star ticks called alpha-gal syndrome. The Lone Star tick, which is easy to spot because of the distinctive white dot on its back. And infected ticks were extremely rare, but over the last year, cases of alpha-gal syndrome have skyrocketed. Headline after headline, all asking the same question: how could a tick-borne illness suddenly be impacting so many people, not just living in rural America who spend a lot of time in the woods or on a farm, but in suburban America as well? And right on cue, the left want to blame the entire thing on climate change. The world is warming, they say. And if you bring up this topic, you are immediately labeled a conspiracy theorist, but I do not care. We think there is more to this story. Enter Dr. Matthew Lau at the World Economic Forum when he said this.
People eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would, it would actually really help the planet. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
Oh, well, isn't that interesting? And then you start to connect the dots even more. You realize that Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation spent millions of dollars funding genetically engineered ticks. He even tried to develop a tick vaccine. Gates is also a major investor in lab-grown meat. And suddenly we've got 450,000 Americans living with a rare tick-borne illness that makes people allergic to meat, and the left want us to think this is all just a coincidence.
Now, at the end of the day, maybe this is all explainable. Maybe there's a perfect logical reason ticks seem worse than ever, Lyme disease keeps spreading, and alpha-gal cases are exploding all across the country. But what makes people uneasy is when massive health problems appear. Information feels confusing, and trust in institutions are already at an all-time low right now. That's why videos like this spread so fast, is because people aren't sure what's going on. Do they feel like it's just a random coincidence that ticks are starting to pop off everywhere, and you got Pfizer over here creating a Lyme disease, and then you also got alpha-gal popping out of nowhere? Or is there something deeper that's really happening? So I want to know what you think. Are we watching a normal environmental problem get blown out of proportion on the internet? Or is there actually something bigger happening here that people should be paying attention to? I want you guys to drop your comments down below and to let me know what you think. And again, as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.